Hello viewers, this is the return of the Nations Cup. We're jumping in at round number 3, which is Sardinia with Group 2 cars, which means we'll be seeing a lot of this car, the Mercedes-Benz CLK LM. Now I think this race will be all about tyre wear. We have 8 times tyre wear, and we have to use both the medium and the soft. Let's jump into the first race. And in the first race, there will be plenty of carnage. We'd also have a massive dive bomb, which ruined a race, and also some paranormal activity. We jump in 11th position in our first qualifying session. Not the greatest. Pretty much everyone in the Mercedes CLK, apart from one guy at the back there with a very brave choice in the Audi. Be interesting to see how he does. But yes, everyone in the Mercedes CLK, this car easily the best in terms of top speed in Group 2. That's why it's the only real option you have for this very race. Away we go, 18 laps around Sardinia, 11th on the grid, not the greatest, lots of positions to be gained in front. And we are about to gain one incredibly quickly here because the Brit there on the outside really committing to the brakes far too heavily and dropping right to the back of the pack. I'm not sure what that was, perhaps their brake pedal broke or they just forgot how to brake or something, I don't know. But we're going to gain a position immediately in this race and move up into 10th. Now hopefully we can gain positions as quickly as that for the entirety of the race, but it's never going to be quite as easy as that. In fact, this race, as we kind of touched upon just a moment ago, had a fair amount of drama from start to finish. This is the end of lap number 1. Now we have the Frenchman here, GTFR underscore pass, who was quite quickly going backwards on this first lap, seemingly with dirty tyres. This is a very fast sweeping left-hander, not proving to be a nice corner to him. And we're going to go up the inside there, into the final corner. So that's up into P9, 2 laps, sorry, on the end of lap number 1. 2 positions to be gained there at the beginning of lap 2, as the 2 guys in front run each other wide. This is the end of lap number 4, up behind this Italian, who would prove to be very much our undoing and our nemesis in the race, you could say. Trying to find a way past. It wasn't easy to overtake, but there were 2 main overtaking spots, I would say. This is being one of them. Up the inside we go. I just said it was quite hard to overtake, but that was kind of an easy looking pass, to be honest. Up the inside, he didn't really resist it. And we move up into P6, 6th position, back in my natural habitat. Really trying to carry the speed through this fast sweeping left-hander. Penultimate corner. No, it's not the penultimate corner. This is the penultimate corner on the circuit. This very tight left-hand hairpin. As rounding out lap number 4. Moving to lap number 6. Now, quite interestingly, I caught up with this guy in front as the Italian behind goes into the pit lane. Now the car in front, as you can see, was dropping a lot of speed on the straight and it didn't really make any sense. Everyone's in the same car. There was no actual need to fuel save. And so everyone should be the same speed down the main straight. It didn't really make much sense. And so 1 lap later, I was able to fully capitalise on that as this guy was just very slow, seemingly not able to press the throttle pedal for some weird reason. I don't really know why he'd not be able to do that. Bit of contact as we would go through, but I think it was an okay pass, and that is 5th position. Now I wasn't really sure of the strategy. As I said at the very start of the video, you had to use the medium and the soft tyre in this race. I started the race on the medium because I wasn't really at the front of the pack, and so after 10 laps I thought, okay, that's enough of the medium, let's change over to the soft. I didn't really know how long the soft would last, but now we are on the better tyre and we can go to the end. Frenchman goes through, the Italian literally goes through, and then suddenly we have some weird paranormal activity with the Italian moving back and forth, seemingly through time, existing and then not existing. Look at this, coming back into existence out of nowhere. This is some very extreme technology that this guy has got hold of, and I do not really understand what he's doing there. And it's not going to be the only time, because here, look at this, boom. Sparking back into existence right before our very eyes. It really was quite an incredible scene here on the back straight, Sardinia, as the Italian and Frenchman now go side by side through the hairpin. We find ourselves now in 7th, and this was a very interesting moment. Not the best bit of driving from me, as we head up towards the hairpin once more, trying to spot our braking points roughly before the 100 board, and that was clearly too late. Luckily, I didn't hit either of the drivers. Unfortunately though, the Frenchman ended up spinning out after all of that debacle. So a very strange moment for them, as a few laps later we have the German there coming out of the pit lane, as now the Italian and the German go side by side with a nice bit of fighting. So it's clear that 4th place is very much on the cards here, with both the positions immediately in front of us. 1st, 2nd and 3rd were quite a way along the road, and so that wasn't going to be a realistic position to try and get in this race. But 4th was absolutely an option, and given I started 11th, that would be a pretty good return on this kind of track, which was quite hard to overtake on. But I mean, I say that again, right? But check this out, guys. This is going to be an absolutely beautiful overtake, as the Italian gets caught napping here. The German goes to the inside. I go to the outside. Cleanly done. I almost get both positions there. But I mean, I got one at least. Around the outside, the Italian truly caught napping there. And a beautiful moment between the two of us, the German and myself, going either side to get the overtake done. So a great piece of driving there. Moving up into 5th. But can we go about getting that 4th? Well, I briefly mentioned that dive bomb is about to happen, because as we head round the final turn onto the main straight, we're sizing up a move here, guys. We're looking for that P4. That would be 7 positions gained in this race. We're going to try and dummy to the outside, keep him on the left-hand side. It's not quite going to happen. We're going to have to go around the long way round. But out of nowhere, the Italian comes flying in, and I am left on the gravel, licking my wounds, and a very sorry moment now with damage, permanent damage. You see, I wasn't particularly pleased with that. Let's take a look at the replay. On the radar, the Italian comes from miles back, another postcode, and goes flying up the inside, and I was unsighted. I couldn't see that happening because I can't really look at the radar and the actual track at the same time. Now, unfortunately, I had to drag this car to the end with a damaged front end, but luckily enough for me, it wasn't too bad. My pace was still okay, and I wasn't overtaken from there to the end, bringing the car home eventually in a very sorry 8th. Okay, that result could have been so much better. Should have been a 4th at a minimum. I think the performance was good. It's just unfortunate some of the things that happened there. Let's take a look at some of those replays very quickly, see what happened. First things first, here was my massive dive bomb. Not sure how the French guy who's just in front there managed to end up crashing. So I went up the inside. I braked. I think we all braked a bit late, but I braked way too late. So I've missed them both. Let's see what's happened here. And he's... that's kind of a weird one. It was a weird one. Here was the other move, where we got wiped out. I have no idea what happened here. Let's have a look. Tried to hold him to the inside, went to the outside. Where did he come from? He came from a long way back. My goodness, I want to see this. This has got to be dive bomb of the century. Let's take a look. He just missed his braking zone, I guess. That is so unfortunate. I could have had a 4th place there if not for that. Okay guys, we're going to jump into the second slot. Let's hope we can have a better result here. Okay, we've got some quick players in here. It's going to be tough, but I can definitely improve my qualifying. That's the first step. And in this qualifying session, I did actually manage a better time than my previous session, but it was only good enough for 8th place. Okay, P8 leaves us a bit of work to do, but I think my race pace is good. I know the strategy this time. The soft tyres can last a lot longer than I thought, so we're armed with all the knowledge we need. Alright, let's do it. P8, we know the strategy. I'm going to start more aggressive this time around, going on the soft tyre at the beginning. And we know now that this tyre can do the majority of the race. Roughly, let's say 14-ish laps. That's to be confirmed. Into turn 1, the Spaniard there really braking very early, to my surprise, and we're going to throw up the inside. On the exit here, side by side through this right hand and then the left hand kink. Tiny bit of contact, but we're through up into 7th. We're going to try and move our way through the pack here. We're going to have to be aggressive with the better tyre here. I'm not sure who is also on the soft, but we're going to try and make our way through the positions as swiftly as possible. It was very frustrating to have that possible 4th taken away from us in that previous race, but the beauty of this these races is that you can give it multiple tries. And so up into the hairpin here, trying to get the brake correct just before the 100. The German goes very deep, and that's going to be 2 positions in 1 corner, and therefore on lap number 1 here, moving from 8th already up into 5th, and that is a very profitable return on our investment. So that's very good stuff so far, and actually quite luckily the car behind there having a bit of a moment through that section of the circuit, which is actually very fast and very technical. And so I just managed to drop them slightly. See there, quite a comfortable gap looking backwards, but also a 1 second margin looking forward as well. And therefore this would be quite an extreme race from here to the end, of really trying to maximise every lap and being incredibly consistent. This would not be an easy race. In fact, overshooting the first corner there, really carrying far too much speed in too late on the brakes, and that surrendered a couple of tenths. But from here on in to the end, I would have to be really, really perfect if I wanted to gain any more positions. I was looking at Stefan there up in 4th as someone I could possibly overtake, as I was just beginning to edge slightly closer. And again, I'm not sure who is on the medium or who is on the soft at this point in time. He makes a bit of a mistake there, sorry, through that fast left, which was a very difficult corner to get right. And I was trying to refine my technique through that turn, try to get a better turning in reference, because it is a very difficult fast corner, but there is so much time in it if you get it correct. So I decided if I could get that corner a lot better, then that would be good. So Stefan goes into the pit lane. You can see there quite a big gap there to the top 3. In fact, let's take a closer look at the margin between myself and Nisman in 3rd. If I had any ambition of getting on the podium, I would have to catch up with these guys who are very quick. By the end of the lap, gap coming down to 1.7, so I felt like my pace was good. It was okay. There was definitely some sort of chance of catching up here, at least with one of these guys. They were all very quick, and so it would take the majority of the 18 laps to try to do that. We are already 7.5 minutes into this one, but we are only a few seconds, a handful of seconds, 3 or 4 off of the lead. See there, the gap to Nisman coming down to 1.5, so I knew at this point pretty much here that it was very much possible to catch up with him, as long as I could be consistent, and perhaps if he would make some mistakes as well. Crossing the line there with a 32.9, which was a solid lap time by my standards. Missing the break here at the end of lap number 6 into the final hairpin, and again just gaining slightly more, 1.3 the margin this time around, 2.8 to the race lead. So not a huge amount of time in it between myself and the race lead. And that is Bria going into the pit lane, the Spaniard, very quick player, someone we should certainly watch out for. He was on the medium tyre to begin with, and will now be jumping onto the soft until the end. I'm already on the soft, of course. The tyres just beginning to slowly wear out. A bit wide there. That's going to cost us a couple of tenths. In fact, that one mistake cost maybe 6 or 7 tenths in one go. And so trying to be really consistent and making a mistake like that, it really did feel quite disastrous. Because if you look at the lap times, 33.0, 33.0, 32.9, 32.8. Very consistent. However, a mistake like that really ruins your rhythm, your flow, and your consistency. Coming across the line this time around, a 33.8, and near enough a 9, and therefore surrendering a second on that lap alone. And that really is very painful in a race as close as this one. This was the end of, midway through lap number 11 now. Nisman getting closer into our sights, 1.2, the gap between the two of us now. And so there's definitely a chance of this happening. I managed to put in much more consistent laps there. After that 33.8, the lap with a mistake. 33.1, 32.9, 32.9. So good consistency still, apart from that 33.8 lap. We were driving pretty well, pretty consistent, and that was the aim of the name of the game here. Just trying to make sure we have a good total race time. 18 laps around this Sardinia circuit, so it's very easy to make mistakes, especially that left-hander. It really was the problem corner of this track, of which there are many, to be honest. This is a very technical and difficult circuit to get dead right, and you really do have to maximise the track limits to truly get the maximum out of this Mercedes CLK LM. Sweeping through this final corner is flat out, but you do have to get the line dead right. I am briefly here in the slipstream of Nisman, so this is representing a changing in the tide, you could say, in the battle, as in the early stages he looked very comfortable, maybe 2 and a bit seconds in front, and now just beginning to edge closer, and give him a warning that I am slowly approaching and we could have a battle anytime soon. But not just yet. He goes into the pit lane at the end of lap 12, maybe a little bit early. I still have grip in these tyres. Take a look at the bottom of the screen. Soft tyres, especially the right hand tyres, beginning to fade away, but we do have at least one more lap of grip left. And so we're going to continue once more round. Up in second place this time, only 2.1 away from Sam Webbo in the lead. And so we've put in a fairly good stint here, perhaps ruining that mistake at the beginning of lap 2 and also lap number 7, where we surrendered a second. I could perhaps be almost within slipstream range if not for those, and that kind of represents the level of consistency you have to have in the higher split lobbies in these Nations Cup races. But it's always good fun, and it really is very testing. Moving up the hill, over the crest, into the braking zone here, trying to brake about 120 metres before this corner, lifting off the brake, really carrying the speed through. Up into second gear, there is a bump on the exit, you've got to watch out for that. And then getting on the power and accelerating away through this very technical section. Flat out here, maybe a bit of a lift to get to the right here on the entry to this fast left, lifting off to get the nose in, then back on the power as early as you dare, getting very close to the exit curb on the right hand side, braking on the 100 board, let the car coast, and then back on the power in second gear, driving out of this corner. Crucial turn because it leads onto the main straight, very long straight, and the longest straight on the circuit. End of lap 13, Sam goes into the pit lane, as do I. It is time to go on to the medium, as the Mercedes boys there put them on. Away we go. This is going to be a close battle on the exit of the pit lane, and there goes Nisman. Very close fight between the two of us. He has gained maybe, well, not much actually, maybe just a few tenths. And so the battle now resumes from here to the end. 5 laps to go, including this one. And as we come through, you notice that the Captain JJ just behind, well, you can barely see him because of the intense glare from the sun. I mean, who put the sun there on this beautiful day? Well, I mean, if the sun wasn't there, then it wouldn't be a beautiful day, would it? Anyway, that aside, we now have a very clear battle stage set from here to the end of the race. It is quite a clear battle, I would say, for 4th and potentially 3rd if Sam makes mistakes up there, but he is a good maybe 2-3 seconds up the road. It really is about trying to capture this 4th place and not losing 5th to the Captain JJ behind. On this lap, we were fairly equidistant and wasn't really able to overtake each other. However, lap number 15, just beginning to edge closer to Nisman, and this was about as close as I had ever been in the entirety of this race. We are now 23 minutes into this race, and it really was a very good battle, taking more than 20 minutes for me to try and catch up, just a matter of a couple of seconds, to Nisman. It really was very painful, trying to eke out every last tenth and not make any mistakes. It really was a good fight. And through here, you see both of us right on the edge, really close to the track limits, and it was really interesting fighting him in this sense, because we both had to be as consistent as possible, but also really push the limits so that he could pull away or that I could reel him in. Heading towards braking zone on lap 16, only 3 to go. This is as close as we have been, 3 tenths behind now, getting incredibly close. But from this kind of distance, in this type of car, it is quite hard to follow with the very high downforce of these cars. Down the straight, of course, you will get the slipstream. Through the turns, it certainly does not help. That wasn't the best of exits there. Coming out in third gear, where second would have been better. That gives the Captain JJ the impetus to drive on the right-hand side and potentially have a chance into that corner, but we managed to rebuff the overtake. However, out of the slipstream range now, or on the faint edges of it, of Nisman, I'm not getting the assistance I would like up this straight. I'm going to have to move to the left-hand side and defend into the hairpin and force the Captain JJ to the right-hand side. He's trying it around the outside. It's not quite going to work, and we're going to settle back into single file as the race settles back, and I can hopefully here have a good section and just try and relieve some pressure. I'm trying to get a good end to this lap to ensure that we have a suitable margin going onto the long main straight, which is arguably the best overtaking opportunity on this lap, if not the second best. Anyway, we resume here. Lap number 17, the end of. Nisman makes a very crucial error there, and this is going to be a very close move here into turn, the final turn. I don't know what number it is. He goes defensive fully to the inside, covers me off, and I can't quite go for the move, but we are well and truly within the slipstream range here. And going on to the final lap, we have a chance of fourth. It has taken the entire race to put myself into a position where I could even consider this fight. So is it going to be fourth, fifth, or sixth? Look into the outside, try to defend. He tries to defend, and he does on the inside. I tried to fake him out. He didn't really buy it. As we now head towards the next chicane, am I close enough to go for a move here? Not quite. Just having to lunge, just having to lift off there. Sorry. As we consider the lunge, we're certainly too far back for that. Just trying to put him under some sort of pressure. He gets a really good exit there. And it really is about getting those good exits to relieve some of the pressure, of which I am now under plenty of from the Captain JJ behind. So I'm going to try and catch back up here, running out of opportunities, and potentially I need him to make a mistake. And he has only made really one glaring one about a lap ago. So just waiting for that potential chance to get this fourth place. It's not going to be easy. This was not an easy track to overtake on. Moving in this race from 8th to 5th so far, but I moved up into 5th pretty much on lap number 1. There hasn't really been much in terms of position changing from here since the first lap, but it has been such a tense and incredible race. Through the final corner, we are going to finish in 5th. It was a really good battle. It nearly delivered at the end there with an extra overtake, but I'm really happy just to finish and collect some decent points here for my Nations Cup campaign, finishing this one in 5th position. There we go, guys. That was a better result. 264 points. It was a good performance, I think. Maybe a few little mistakes there, but it was a good battle. Happy to not get punted off this time. I think that was a pretty good performance in the end. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.